Hey, how you doing? Brian Mursky here with Veranda Technologies in Brick Township, New Jersey, serving Monmouth and Ocean counties and the rest of New Jersey. So it's been a long time since we've done a brand new Fresh Tech Talk Tuesday. I had two topics to address. The first is just going to be a teaser because we're getting spotty information in at this point. But maybe next week or at some point in the next week, I will post more about this. TikTok, the popular online service loved by kids and others, is probably going to be banned in the US and Canada coming up pretty soon. That's the teaser, and we'll talk about that more in the future. So one thing that's come up a lot in the last week or two is not always conspiracy theories, but I've seen a lot of talk, a lot of posts, a lot of videos about the new COVID tracking that's being done in iPhones and Android Google phones. And I wanted to set the record straight on a few things. So I made some notes from things I've seen. First, I've heard a lot of chatter over the past week that the slowness in the cell phone network last week was related to the release of these features. It wasn't. That's outright false. There were cell phone outages on multiple carriers last week. They were technical in nature. I won't bore everybody with why and what and how, but it wasn't related to the deployment of the COVID tracking. And it's not even COVID tracking. So on the iPhone, if you go to Settings, Privacy, Health, COVID-19, it's actually called COVID-19 Exposure Logging. There is a setting in there now for that wasn't there previously. And we'll talk about what it does. And on the Android and Google phones, it's Settings, Google, COVID-19 Exposure Notifications. So what's it all about? Is the government tracking you? Again, there's a lot of speculation theories out there. The first thing I'll point out is it's off by default. So I'm not really sure what people are concerned about. It was specifically designed by Google and Apple together in joint collaboration. They worked together on the spec. It was deployed in the off setting. So if you go to either of those two places in your phones, you'll see it there if you have the newest version of the software deployed, and it's disabled. You can choose to enable it or disable it if you like, but by default it's off. Even if it were on, it still wouldn't do a darn thing unless you had a specific app built by your state's health department installed on the phone. To date, 0 state health departments have developed apps for the phones. This setting was put there by Google and Apple in preparation for laying the groundwork for the state departments to write apps to collect data for contact tracing by volunteer only. So first, I'll go back through the settings again. It's on the iPhone, it's Settings, Privacy, Health, COVID-19. And on the Android, it's Settings, Google, COVID-19. It is defaulted off. You get to choose if you turn that on or not. Even if you turn it on, it won't work without an app that doesn't exist yet. So when those apps are released, you'll hear more about that. You'll see it in the news. And you'll choose if you want to download that app and install the app to the phone. And when you install the app, you'll have to decide if you turn on the setting in your phone to allow the app to work. By design and law, the way this was spec'd out, only state health departments will be able and allowed to access that data. Not third-party companies, not app companies, not your cell phone company. State health departments for your state specifically can access the data and read it. It must stay on your phone. It will not be collected and sent to a database off in the cloud. They're not allowed to pull it off the phone. They're not allowed to transmit it anywhere. The data lives on your phone. So what happens is if you decide to download the app and you decide to turn that setting on, you've now told your phone to handshake with, basically ping other phones that you're in proximity to. If they also have chosen to install the app and turn the setting on only, you will establish a it's like a serial number, but it's not tied to you. It's a device specific number, not tied to any of your personally identifiable information. And even then, that does nothing. It sits on your phone and it keeps track of the other devices that you were in. If somebody who had that on later tells their phone that they have tested positive for COVID, you will get an alert that you have had contact with somebody who may have COVID. Now, there's a lot of area where this can go wrong. Somebody can tell their phone they have COVID just to create, wreak havoc. And I expect that will happen in some cases. But none of this is top tier government tracking. If they wanted to do that, listen, the day you bought your cell phone and activated it, you gave up that right, or that whatever word you want to use for it. Your cell phone company, the government, the NSA, they've been tracking everywhere you go every single day since you've had the phone. I guess depending on how long you've had the phone, maybe not since you've had the phone. They didn't need a new app for that. They didn't need to write something new for that purpose. This is solely to give people who want to participate in contact tracing the ability to do so. Period. End of story. That's it. It's off by default. It doesn't work without a separate app. So there's two things that you need. You have to choose to put one of them on the phone. The other was put there simply to lay the groundwork. Can all of this change in the future? I suppose it can. If you want to hang on to that tinfoil hat, go for it. You do you. But I wanted to explain a little bit about what was going on, the technicals, and why they're doing this. So hopefully that clears that up. If you have a kid that uses TikTok, or if you use TikTok, get ready to not use TikTok anymore. And that's where we'll leave that. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Have a wonderful week. Have an even better summer. If anybody needs anything, reach out to us. helpdesk@verandatech.com, 732-743-5772, or you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/verandatech. Take care.